Clearly, I have a lot to get off my chest. Clearly, I'm kind of fed up with having to hide myself, having to hide my thoughts or suppress my thoughts, or at least not translate my thoughts into words, which I think is the real big problem. And maybe I'm kind of mad that other people are experiencing the same thing, or we're kind of experiencing this mass hysteria type moment where a lot of us are finding that we just can't express what we're thinking into words because it's looked down upon, and we fear that there will be negative social repercussions if we do say what we think. And I mean, I think everybody has a story where they could relate to this. I go back to the first time when the vaccines were coming out and everybody was, a lot of people were taking them. I'm very hesitant about it. I guess what you would say, a vaccine hesitant. I'm not anti-vax, not at all. But I am hesitant because I have questions, because I am worried about the way it came out. And so this was all at the beginning. I was just a bit hesitant about everything because it seemed a bit strange, right? There's obviously a lot going on that if you look at and you place side by side, you can kind of extrapolate this underlying theme. I hate saying this, draconian totalitarianship, right? Dictatorship. The government strong-arming people into doing what they want type thing. I think Joe Rogan said it really well when he said, fuck you, you can't do this unless you do what I tell you to, right? And I think that really comes down to that. That's kind of what's going on. So it started off, like I was saying, I was just a bit hesitant. I also, I have mental health issues. I have bipolar and I have ADHD, bipolar 2 to be specific. Well, diagnosed bipolar 2, should be bipolar 1 because I've had psychotic breaks. But anyways, I have this mental illness. I have ADHD, and so I have a very strange way of thinking. And this very strange way of thinking is also, I process things pretty slow compared to other people, I imagine, or at least I question things a lot more. Just because I maybe I can't understand things as well as other people on the merit of just the thing, right? I always kind of explained it in this way. So if you look at a math equation, right, let's say you have like x plus y plus z equals omega, all right? I feel like most people, they see omega and they just get it, I see omega and I don't see omega. I see the x plus y plus z. So I need to identify the variables for me to understand the omega, to understand the actual global concept of things. So with that being said, when the pandemic started and all this shit started going down, and then it got so politicized, and then it just became this media nightmare. This has been going on for far longer, this media nightmare and this bipartisanship and this political polarization and the... we're creating camps and things like that. This has been going on for quite some time, and I think people like Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro, people who Brett Weinstein and his wife Heather. I believe that a lot of these people were sounding the alarms because they see a pattern of behavior, they see a pattern of outcomes, and they look at that and they say, "Oh, okay, this pattern may be indicative of something that we should watch out for." And you know what? I personally think they happen to be right, because we could see this being implemented in every major institution across the West. And it's a bit frightening because it feels like a lot of people are just kind of... I don't know if a lot of people are mindlessly going along with it. I don't know if a lot of people are just holding their silence. I don't know exactly where it comes from. But what I do know is that I fall in that camp of I don't know what's going on. Right? I do not understand it. I can see... I could start to see a lot of the variables. I obviously know I don't have the full picture, but I have enough variables for me to know that I feel strange about everything. I feel very off about how things are going, or at least I have more questions. And to me, that's the main issue. Okay, I have an increasing number of questions pertaining to the nature of everything that's going on. And the problem is that it has become the fact that I have those questions that is the problem. You know what I mean? It's the fact that I question things and that I don't just accept things at face value. That's the issue. That's the issue that people have a problem with, right? So the whole thing with the vaccine, when the vaccine came out, the pandemic started, the vaccine was coming out, right? I was a bit, deer stuck in headlights. I didn't know what to do about it. So I decided, well, you know what? I'm just the way, maybe I didn't even decide this. I think it just kind of happened where it's like, well, I'm just going to kind of hang back and watch what happens because I'm not ready to get the vaccine because there's too much nagging at me. And I know with my mental health issues, if I were to get it, it would do more harm psychologically to me than if I were not to get it. And I had to take care of myself. I understand maybe that's a selfish thing, but also I've had the virus. So, I've been immune. I didn't need the vaccine. I had no need for that at all. So the fact of me getting this kind of experimental serum injected into me really rubbed me the wrong way. Well, then it just felt like I didn't need to, right? What was the point of that? It's like, okay, well, I'm not going to take this fucking risk if I know I'm already more immune than the people who get vaccinated. And then, right, everything that's happened since the initial vaccination campaign came out, it's just kind of propelled everything in this in the strange direction that things were already going. It's propelled them into the stratosphere, or outside the stratosphere, above that. We're in space right now with the lunacy of everything that's going on. So the first thing that ends up happening is, okay, so the vaccine isn't protecting people. Okay. Isn't protecting people fully, right? That's the first thing that becomes apparent. And the vaccine's having some really negative side effects in a very small population of the people. All right, that's one thing to be afraid of. The companies that are producing these vaccines are guaranteed by the government that there's no repercussions. They're not liable for anything that happens as a result of the vaccine. So, okay, that's a bit strange as well. What was after that? So after that, people are still getting sick even with the vaccine. I have a buddy, he's in great shape. He does quite a lot of drugs, though, so he can't talk about his immune system health. Physically, he's in tremendous shape. I ran into him at the gym the other day, and he is vaccinated, and he said he still got COVID, and he got it bad. He was out for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, he said he lost a lot of muscle mass. He said he was bedridden, felt like shit for 2 weeks, and he was vaccinated. He was vaccinated. So, hearing things like this and seeing what's going on and then understanding the kind of underlying flow of a specific subset of things, it just kind of reinforces this confusion and this, wait a sec, like, don't tell me what to do. Please don't tell me that I have to do these things. I'll do them when I'm ready. Please don't tell me what to think. Please don't tell me what's right and what's wrong. You've been found to be lying. You have been found to be lying time and time again. You have clearly, and here's the other thing too. There's one thing about lying that, in terms of the leadership and in policy and in public health and in public relations, you can always tell when the person up there is bullshitting, right? They're talking out of their ass because they talk in nothings, right? They talk in nothingnessies, if that's not a word, but you know what I mean? They talk in that way of, Mr. CEO, do you think that your company was actually producing pollution higher than the levels that are regulated? Well, it's not necessarily certain if we were or if we weren't. The regulation isn't very clear, so we have to keep looking at that. But I will tell you one thing. We are committed to making sure that the way that we do things is the right way. That's a bullshit fucking response, and everybody could smell it a mile away. All right, but the thing with that kind of response is that response in itself is a lie. Because you're not being transparent. You said nothing. You said nothing of substance. You said nothing that anybody could really look to, latch onto, put in their heads and think, right? You've essentially done nothing. It's smoke. It's smoke and mirrors. There was nothing done. There was nothing said. The situation has not changed. You have not taken accountability for anything. And anyways, this has been going on. The political leaders, the public health leaders, the health institution leaders, the people who are at the head of our investigations. All of this is happening in all of these departments, all at the same time. It's so concentrated. It's so thick. It just makes me so uncomfortable and increases my confusion and therefore increases my reluctance to participate in whatever it is that's going on. And I think that's fair. I think to blindly just accept what's going on is the wrong thing to do. because you're not actually thinking. You're not actually becoming a productive member of society. You're just kind of going along with this thing that's told to you. And you should be questioning everything. You should be questioning everything all the time. I'm not talking about everything that goes on outside of your experience. Everything that goes on inside of your experience, almost more so, you should be questioning it. Because that's part of the human condition. We get thoughts all the time that are just absolute garbage. We think negatively of ourselves. We think negatively of other people. We have these, instant pop-up thoughts that have to be grabbed. They have to be kind of, look under the cover, kind of look what's going on. Oh, and then that process of looking under the cover, look what's going on, that's how we fix our thinking mechanism. Right? But people don't do that. People don't do it. People don't do it about the thoughts that they have in themselves. People don't do it about the thoughts that people want them to have. So it's just very alarming. It's very confusing. It's very uncomfortable for me. And I think what's ended up happening is that I'm actually at the point where I do not appreciate that tomorrow, the 22nd of September, we have to get, in Ontario anyways, Ontario, Canada, you have to have a vaccine, and then you have to have the vaccine passport, which is a proof of vaccination. I think it's digitized, or maybe they're going to have it in paper form. I haven't really looked into that yet. I know it's digitized for sure. It's going to be like a QR scan code thing. But anyways, you need to have that vaccine passport in order to do things in the market. If you want to go to the gym, if you want to go to clubs, if you want to go to a bar, if you want to go to a restaurant, if you want to go to a show, if you want to go to the movies, if you want to go see a concert, and much more, much more. If you want to do any of that, you need to have this vaccine passport. You need to. And, one thing that other places have done, which I'm kind of grateful for, because it's a step in the right direction, if you ask me, is they're saying, okay, well, if you really don't want the vaccine, that's kind of caca. And we'll try to force you to take the vaccine in other ways. But if you really don't want it and you still want to be, going out in public and going to eat at restaurants and things like that, at least get a weekly COVID test and have that result ready. Have the negative COVID test, have the proof of a negative COVID test at your ready. And it's fine. You'll be able to go in and do all these things. Well, Ontario, that's not a solution. That's not what we're doing. We're not doing that at all. You need the vaccine passport to do anything. And to me, this is a huge misstep. This is very much waltzing into the grounds of immorality and unethical issues and issues of ethics, because it's preposterous. It's preposterous that we're not actually going to consider the facts. We're not actually going to consider logic in implementing these decisions. We're just implementing this blanket solution, and we're not even talking about it. That's, I think, the real issue of everything, is that we're not having the discussion about why we're not having the discussion. You know what I mean? To me, that's the major problem. It makes no sense to me that this is the case, and I do not agree with it. I do not agree with it at all. I do not agree with everything that's going on at the moment. In fact, if I'm completely honest, I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm very scared. I'm very confused. I'm indecisive. I'm in this state of fog. I feel like it's like the Twilight Zone. It's like I feel like I'm fine, and I feel like I'm fine, and everybody and a lot of the other people are, they're being a bit irrational. They seem to have been captured by this irrational being that possesses people, this being of irrationality that, possesses people. But there's so many people who feel this way, and it's the official narrative that's being hoisted on the back of the media giants and the political powers that be, and in policy, and then in workplace policy, and it's just, it's being, and education, it's being brought upon on every of our major institutions, and not anywhere are we actually pumping any sort of brakes. We're in fact, it's like we're pressing on the gas. We're going faster. And it's not that I don't agree with the morality of their decisions. That's not it at all. I just want to see us pump the brakes a bit. I just want to see us apply a bit of resistance in this decision making, because it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me that we're going all in one ideological manner on every decision we're making, And there's not an ounce of doubt. And there's not an ounce of letting up. You know, it's like in the UFC, if some guy's got some other dude in some fucking crazy leg lock and he's tapping, it's like, yo, that's enough. And he's just bending it. Holy fuck, calm down, man, calm down. Clack, 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 clack. He's bending it. Now he's fucking going. He's still going. He's twisting your leg non-fucking stop. It's like, dude, stop. Stop. This is too much. Pump the brakes. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the fact that we can't talk about it. Let's have a public discourse about this, right? Let's have somebody up there who says it out loud, who's not talking for one side or the other, who's just saying out loud, guys, this is too much. This is too much. Let's calm down, right? Let's have some reliable press. Like, why is this mainstream shit being so fucked up? I do not know. It is so bizarre. I'm beyond myself with all this, and I cannot stand it. And anyways, that's it for me. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.